Another video from SEEG2105. We're going to briefly talk about the risks when reusing technology. One of the important risks when reusing technology is that you might find that the components that you try to reuse are poor in quality. So for example, what if there were bugs? What if the components didn't exactly meet your needs? You spent a lot of time using components and then discovered that they didn't quite meet your needs. I had this experience a long time ago. I was asked to create an information system for managing databases, but I was told to use a user interface that was created for the purpose of computer-aided design tools. It was great for doing all kinds of fancy graphics, but it wasn't very good for creating lists and other kinds of things that you would want to put on the screen for managing an inventory. So in order to ensure that the components that you select are good quality, you want to test them. You want to make sure that, in fact, they do meet your needs by maybe doing some prototyping. Use an agile approach to try them out in advance. Another problem with reuse is that compatibility is not maintained. So, for example, you may choose a feature, but you may choose an obscure feature of this technology. If you do that, you might find that that feature goes away. People who produce reusable software generally don't take away important features. For example, in Java, there are lots and lots of features that lots of people use, and they wouldn't usually be deprecated unless they were very obscure, very unusual, very few people using them. So what you want to do is you want to reuse technology, reuse features that you know lots of other people are also using. That way, you can be more assured that your code will not later on suddenly break because compatibility is not maintained. Another issue is investment uncertainty. You want to plan to reuse just as if you were investing money in the stock market. You want to really make sure that the people who are going to be supporting your product are in fact going to continue to support it over the long run. You want to have confidence in them. You want to do due diligence to make sure that this is something which has the potential to last for the long term. Another issue is that you want to look out for what's called the not invented here syndrome. In some organizations, managers are very reluctant to reuse code and products from other companies or even from other divisions within the same company. They tend to suggest that perhaps we should reinvent it ourselves, simply so that we have control over the code. So if you are creating reusable technology, you want to guarantee support. You want to build confidence in potential reusers to make sure that they really feel that there is going to be some long-term support for this. You want to also ensure that it's of high quality. You want to demonstrate this by producing test cases and making sure that the quality processes you have followed are in fact in place. And you want to really make sure that the software responds to the needs of the users so that people think, you know what, let's in fact reuse the software that's being produced rather than trying to reuse other software or build it themselves. Another issue, of course, is competition. You want to build reusable technology, you have to watch out for the competition. And indeed, if you're reusing technology, you want to look around at the competition and see what alternatives there are to reuse. So if you're building reusable software, it needs to be useful and as high quality as possible. And finally, there is the issue of divergence or forking. People tend to take reusable technology and create different versions of it in order to reuse it in different ways. So in order to prevent this, if you're building reusable technology, design it to be general enough. Test it and review it in advance, making sure that it serves the needs of diverse customers so people don't feel the need to fork it in any particular way.